Hey, this is Let's Chief, and I'm just going to go through some audio settings with you guys today. Um, so right away I'm going to stop talking and look at where my audio levels are at. So you can see my audio levels hovering down here because I have, it's winter, my heater's going, I've got the fridge going behind me, so there's just some like random background noise going on. So the first kind of effect we would want to put on our audio might be a noise gate. To do that, we're going to hit the three dots under our audio source. For me, it's the mic aux. Go to filters. I currently have all my audio settings disabled, so you can see when I stop talking, that baseline audio level's going. Basically, a noise gate will be a literal gate that opens and closes based on if your audio reaches a certain threshold or decibel level, however you want to think of it. So you have the open threshold, that's when the gate opens so that your mic will activate, and then the closed threshold, so that's where your audio signal has to go down to beneath for the gate to close and to cut off the audio. Three things: attack time, hold time, and release time. So the attack time is how quick after you hit that threshold, the open threshold, how quickly will the gate open. So we want that pretty quick. The hold time I have set to 1.2 seconds basically. So once I have that gate open, if I'm if I'm taking a moment to think like I am now, I don't necessarily want it to just slam the gate closed and have all the audio drop out and lead to some weird kind of sounding vocal track. So I have the gate open for 1.2 seconds of 1200 milliseconds. So it's going to hold for at least that long. And then a release time. So once my audio drops below 36 decibels, as I have it set, and it might be different for each of you, once I hit that close threshold, if I don't go above it within 0.4 seconds or 400 milliseconds, then that gate will close and the audio will drop out. So let's see what it looks like as I'm talking here and the noise gate is enabled. Now you could see after about half a second, or 0.4 seconds more accurately, once the audio dropped beneath that level, the background hum has now been cut off and it doesn't reach that threshold because I've set my open threshold far above where that level is. So let's watch it again. If you have like some background music or something like that, that'll help keep like a solid like kind of backing track the whole time. Now that we have our noise gate set, let me turn that off one more time. So you can see that our background level is at negative 45 decibels here. If I click the mouse, just, like if I'm clicking around, it hits below 35, just below 35 decibels it looks like. So I guess when I set the original levels, that's what I was looking at. So I wanted to make sure that if I was talking even at like a very low volume, see I hit at least 30 decibels there, so that'll open the gate. So even when I'm talking at a low volume, that the gate's going to open so that I don't accidentally cut off any of my own voice, like I don't set the level too high. So make sure you watch out for that and listen to yourself. Maybe record something and listen to it. Now that we have our gate set, let's move down to the compressor. So what the compressor does is for every decibel over the threshold that your audio signal reaches, it turns the signal down by a number of decibels you set. So typically like 2, 3, 4 to 1 ratio, and that's in decibels, like 4 decibels to 1 ratio, is typically considered pretty gentle limiting. So like 3 to 4, I have mine at 3.5, you can see on here. So What the compressor does is to put kind of more of a finished, polished sound on the audio, and mine might already have like a little bit of that like kind of baked into it right now, so it might be not as drastic of a difference for you to hear. But I've set my level at 28 decibels, so pretty much when I'm talking regularly, it looks like my level's hitting between 10 and 15, which is where you want to, set your level to anyway. Kind of, we didn't really talk about gain staging, but you want your signal to be as loud as you can without your mic clipping, basically. So make sure you set a good solid level before you do any sort of filters. So with my voice typically like ranging between 20 and 10 decibels on the meters here, I have my threshold set at -28 to begin this just gentle compression to put a more polished sound on the voice. Again, with attack and release, the fast attack, slower release, because I do lose a little bit of volume, I guess, with the ratio. I do have the output gain set just like a little bit higher, so I could have like a nice hot mic signal at the end. So let's see what happens as I enable this compression while I'm talking. I don't know if you could tell the difference. This is the compressor's off right now, and the compressor is back on. I do have a second compressor, which is kind of like a hard limiter for when I get like really loud. The threshold is set at -8 decibels. So you want this, if you do a limiter, this is going to be kind of like a brick wall to say like the audio shall not pass like far beyond this. Typically you want this like 15 or 20 to 1 in the ratio. I have mine a little bit lighter because I already have a fair bit of compression before we get to this part of the signal chain. So, if my voice gets past 8 decibels, like you could see, like we just hit the red, but just barely. So again, super fast attack because, we don't want to be clipping our audio. And then release is also like fairly quick compared to the other ones. So here's my settings. You could steal them. Let's see what happens with the brick wall on now. Check. Yeah, so it doesn't even get into the red. So I'm not worried at all about, if I'm in some intense gaming and, just like completely yelling, like I'm not at all worried about what my audio signal is going to do with these settings. I am completely in control, and steal them if you'd like, adapt them to what you have going on, and hopefully your settings will also be stellar too.